Captain Ryan Burke floated in the command chair of his ship, watching the stars through the main screen. The ship looked like empty space to anyone who might be watching. That was the point. For 300 years, humans had been very good at staying hidden. "Captain, we're getting signals from the Cathara ships," said Lieutenant Nina Hayes from her station. She was young but smart, and her fingers moved fast across the controls. "They're talking about attacking human colonies." Ryan felt his stomach tighten. The Cathara were big, mean aliens who thought they owned this part of space. They had ships the size of cities and weapons that could crack planets. What they didn't know was that humans had been watching them for a very long time. "Put it on speaker," Ryan said. The alien voices filled the bridge. They sounded like growling dogs, but the computer changed their words into English. "The humans are weak. Their colonies have no real defenses. We can take 12 systems in one attack." Dr. Amy Foster looked up from her workstation. She had been studying aliens for 20 years, but she still looked shocked. "They really think we only have 12 systems," she said quietly. Ryan almost smiled. Humans actually lived in over 200 systems. They had cities on planets the aliens had never even seen. They had factories hidden inside asteroids. They had ships that could appear and disappear like ghosts. But the aliens thought humans were just scared little creatures hiding on Earth. "Keep recording," Ryan told Nina. "Admiral Morrison needs to hear this." The alien voices kept talking. They were planning something big. The Cathara Empire was joining with 2 other alien groups. The Vorthan Collective had ships that looked like metal spiders. The Zilani Republic flew in formations that moved like flocks of birds. Together, they had thousands of ships and millions of soldiers. "They want to divide human space between them," Amy said. She was reading the translations on her screen. "The Cathara get the inner systems. The Vorthan get the outer rim. The Zilani get everything in between. And the humans?" Ryan asked, though he already knew the answer. "Dead or slaves," Amy replied. The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew this day might come. For centuries, humans had been preparing for it. They had built secret shipyards. They had trained hidden armies. They had created weapons the aliens had never seen. But they had also hoped it would never be necessary. Ryan's ship was called the Silent Dawn. It was one of 50 ships in the Shadow Fleet that moved through space like hunting wolves. The aliens had no idea they existed. 2 alien sensors. The ships looked like pieces of rock or empty space. Human technology was much better than anyone knew. "Nina, send a message to Admiral Morrison," Ryan said. "Tell him we need to talk. Use the emergency channel." Nina's fingers moved across her controls. In a few seconds, Admiral Jake Morrison's face appeared on the screen. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been keeping humanity's secrets for 30 years. "What do you have, Ryan?" the Admiral asked. "Bad news, sir. The aliens are planning to attack. All 3 major powers are working together. They think they can wipe us out in one big strike." Morrison's face went hard. "How long do we have?" "Maybe 2 months. They're still moving ships into position." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Ryan could see him thinking. This was the decision they had all been dreading. Should they keep hiding and hope the aliens would leave them alone? Or should they finally show the galaxy what humans could really do? "Send me everything you recorded," Morrison said finally, "and get back to base. We need to have a meeting." The screen went dark. Ryan looked around at his crew. They all knew what this meant. The hiding was about to end. "Set course for New Haven," Ryan told his pilot. "Maximum stealth." As the Silent Dawn turned toward home, Ryan thought about the hidden colony they were heading to. New Haven looked like an asteroid field to anyone passing by. But inside those rocks were factories, shipyards, and military bases. 50,000 people lived there, and the aliens had no idea they existed. It was the same story throughout human space. The aliens thought humans lived on a few small planets and struggled to grow food. They had no idea that human miners were digging metals from 1,000 different worlds. They didn't know that human factories were building ships and weapons faster than any alien race ever had. The truth was simple. Humans had been growing stronger for 3 centuries. They had been watching, learning, and preparing. They had studied every alien language, mapped every alien world, and counted every alien ship. They knew the aliens' weaknesses better than the aliens knew their own. But now the aliens were coming, and humans would have to decide whether to keep hiding or to finally show the galaxy who they really were. Ryan looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were getting ready to attack what they thought were helpless human colonies. They were about to get the biggest surprise in galactic history. The Silent Dawn moved through space like a ghost, carrying news that would change everything. The age of hiding was about to end. The age of fighting was about to begin, and the aliens had no idea what was coming for them. General Lisa Kane stood in the war room deep inside New Haven, watching numbers change on dozens of screens. Each number represented ships, weapons, or soldiers. For the first time in 300 years, all of humanity's hidden strength was waking up. "How many ships do we have ready?" she asked Major Sam Rodriguez, who was sitting at a control station covered in blinking lights. 3,000 and growing, Sam replied. "The shipyards are working around the clock. We're building 50 new ships every week." Lisa nodded. It sounded like a lot, but the aliens had more, much more. The Cathera Empire alone had over 5,000 ships. Add in their new allies, and the aliens had maybe 15,000 ships total. But humans had something the aliens didn't know about. They had been preparing for this fight for a very long time. "What about the special projects?" Lisa asked. Dr. Ben Carter looked up from his workstation. He was a thin man with messy hair who hadn't slept in 3 days. "The new shields are ready. The phase weapons are ready. The stealth systems are better than ever. We've got surprises the aliens have never seen." Lisa walked to the big window that looked out over New Haven's hidden shipyards. Hundreds of ships floated in the darkness, looking like ordinary asteroids to anyone watching from outside. But these were the most advanced warships humans had ever built. Each one could fight 10 alien ships and win. "Any word from our people inside alien space?" Lisa asked. Sam smiled for the first time in days. "Our agents are in position. We have people working on alien ships, alien bases, even alien government buildings. They've been there for years, pretending to be servants or workers. When the fighting starts, they'll cause lots of problems from the inside." This was the part of the plan Lisa liked best. Humans were good at pretending to be harmless. For generations, human agents had been living among the aliens. They fixed alien computers, cleaned alien offices, and served alien food. The aliens thought humans were too stupid to be dangerous. They were wrong. Captain Alex Turner walked into the war room wearing his flight suit. He was the best pilot in the Shadow Fleet, and he flew a ship called the Ghost Rider that was completely invisible. 2 alien sensors. "We've been watching the alien fleets," he said. "They're moving slower than we expected. Bad coordination between the 3 groups. They don't trust each other." "Good," Lisa said. "That gives us more time to get ready." But time was still running out. The aliens were planning to attack in 6 weeks. That meant humans had 6 weeks to prepare for the biggest fight in their history. 6 weeks to get ready to show the galaxy what they could really do. "General Kane," a voice said from the speakers. It was Admiral Morrison, calling from his command ship. "We need to talk about the colonies." Lisa pressed a button on her control panel. "What about them, sir?" "The Outer Rim colonies. The ones the aliens think are defenseless. We need to decide whether to evacuate them or use them as bait." Lisa felt her stomach drop. The Outer Rim colonies were home to millions of people. Families with children who had no idea that war was coming. But those colonies were also the perfect place to spring a trap on the aliens. How long to evacuate? Lisa asked. 3 weeks minimum, Morrison replied. But if we evacuate, the aliens will know something is wrong. They'll change their plans. Lisa understood. If humans wanted to keep the element of surprise, they had to let the aliens attack the outer colonies. But that meant putting innocent people in danger. What about the secret defenses? Lisa asked. Every colony has hidden weapons platforms. They do, Morrison said. But the people living there don't know about them. They think they're really defenseless. This was the hardest part of keeping humanity's secrets. Most humans didn't know how strong they really were. The families living on the outer rim colonies thought they were pioneers on the edge of space, protected only by a few small patrol ships. They had no idea that each colony was surrounded by invisible weapons platforms that could destroy alien fleets. I'll leave it up to you, Morrison said. But decide fast. We need to start moving our fleets into position. The connection ended. Lisa looked around the war room at her officers. They were all thinking the same thing. How do you protect people without telling them they're in danger? We keep the colonies in place, Lisa decided. But we doubled the hidden defenses. Tripled them. When the aliens attack, they'll get the shock of their lives. Sam nodded. I'll send the orders. Every colony gets more invisible weapons platforms. The aliens won't know what hit them. Dr. Carter looked up from his work. I've got something else. New gravity mines. They look like empty space, but when a ship gets close, they create a gravity field that crushes anything inside. We can seed them throughout the outer systems. Do it, Lisa said, but make sure our own ships know where they are. Captain Turner grinned. This is going to be fun. The aliens think they're attacking helpless colonies. Instead, they're flying into the biggest trap in galactic history. Lisa wasn't so sure it would be fun. War was never fun, but it might be necessary. The aliens had made their choice. They wanted to enslave or destroy humanity. Now they were going to learn what humans could do when they stopped hiding. How are the other hidden bases? Lisa asked. All active, Sam replied. Storm Point, Dark Harbor, Iron Mountain. Every secret military base in human space is preparing for war. We've got soldiers, ships, and weapons coming out of hiding everywhere. Lisa walked back to the window. Outside, the shipyards were working day and night. Sparks flew as workers welded armor onto new ships. Robot arms moved weapons into position. In just 6 weeks, all of these ships would be fighting for humanity's survival. General, Dr. Carter said quietly, what if we lose? Lisa turned to look at him. We won't lose. We've been preparing for this fight for 3 centuries. We know everything about the aliens. We know their weaknesses, their tactics, their technology. They know nothing about us, but they have more ships, Carter said. Numbers aren't everything, Lisa replied. They have more ships, but we have better ships. They have more soldiers, but we have better soldiers. They have more weapons, but we have smarter weapons. She looked around the room at her officers. These were the people who would help her win the war. They were smart, brave, and ready to fight. But most importantly, they had been preparing for this moment their entire lives. The aliens think humans are weak, Lisa said. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Outside the window, another new ship powered up its engines for the first time. Its weapon systems came online. Its shields activated. It was ready to fight. Soon, thousands of ships just like it would be fighting to protect humanity. The aliens had no idea what was coming, but they were about to find out. The gathering storm was almost ready to break. Ambassador Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the Endeavour, watching the largest alien fleet she had ever seen approach through space. Her hands were shaking, but she tried to stay calm. As Earth's official representative, she had to negotiate with these aliens. She had to try to save humanity. What she didn't know was that the aliens were already surrounded. "My God," Captain Troy Williams whispered, looking at the main screen. "There must be 500 ships out there." Kate nodded. The alien fleet was massive. Cathera warships looked like flying mountains covered in weapons. Vorthan vessels moved like metal spiders with long arms that could grab and crush enemy ships. Zelani ships flew in perfect formations that looked like flocks of deadly birds. "Send them a message," Kate said. "Tell them we want to talk." The aliens replied quickly. Their leader was a Cathara commander named Vextar. He was 10 feet tall, with 4 arms and teeth like knives. When his face appeared on the screen, Kate had to fight not to step backward. "Humans," Vextar said, in a voice like grinding metal, "you will surrender now. Your species will serve us, or your species will die." Kate took a deep breath. "We'd like to discuss terms. Surely we can find a peaceful solution." Vextar laughed. It sounded like rocks falling down a mountain. "There are no terms. You are weak. We are strong. Submit or be destroyed." What Vextar didn't know was that Colonel Jack Peters was listening to every word from his hidden ship just a few miles away. The Colonel's ship was completely invisible to alien sensors. So were the 200 other human ships that had quietly surrounded the alien fleet. "This is ridiculous," Dr. Ellen Moore said quietly. She was Earth's best expert on alien languages, and she had come to help with the negotiations. "They won't even listen to reason. They think we're helpless," Captain Williams said. "Look at our ship compared to theirs. The Endeavor was a good ship, but it was deliberately designed to look weak. Its weapons were older models. Its armor was thin. Its shields were basic. The aliens were supposed to think it represented humanity's best technology. They were very wrong." "We need more time," Kate said. "Let me try again." She turned back to the screen where Vextar was waiting. "Commander, surely your people value honor. Is there no honor in fighting someone who can't fight back? Honor?" Vextar's 4 eyes narrowed. "You speak of honor. You are insects. There is no honor in stepping on insects." Meanwhile, on his hidden ship, Colonel Peters was coordinating with the Shadow Fleet. "All ships, this is Control. Stay invisible. Wait for the signal." The alien fleet had no idea they were being watched by hundreds of human ships. Advanced sensors tracked every alien vessel. Weapons systems locked onto target after target. The aliens thought they were the hunters, but they were actually the prey. "We have families," Kate said to Vextar children. "Innocent people who have never hurt anyone. Your families will serve us," Vextar replied. "Your children will be raised to obey us. This is mercy." Dr. Moore shook her head. "They've already made up their minds. They're not going to negotiate." Kate knew she was right. The aliens hadn't come to talk. They had come to conquer. But she had to keep trying. Every minute she bought might save lives. "What if we offered to share our technology?" Kate asked. "We could trade knowledge instead of fighting." Vextar's laugh was even louder this time. "Your technology? We have studied your ships. Your weapons are toys. Your computers are calculators. You have nothing we want except your worlds." That was the moment Kate realized the truth. The aliens really did think humans were primitive. They had no idea what human technology could actually do. They thought the Endeavor was humanity's best ship, when it was actually one of the weakest. "I'm giving you one more chance," Vextar said. "Surrender now, or we will demonstrate our power." Kate looked at Captain Williams. His face was pale, but he nodded. They both knew what was coming. "We need time to consider your offer," Kate said. "You have 1 hour," Vextar replied. "Then we attack your nearest colony to show you what happens to those who resist." The screen went dark. Kate sat down heavily in her chair. She had failed. The aliens were going to attack, and there was nothing she could do to stop them. "Captain," said Lieutenant Nash from the communications station, "I'm getting a signal from the colony they're targeting. Riverside Colony, In the Kepler system. What are they saying? Williams asked. They're asking if they should evacuate. They know the aliens are coming. Kate closed her eyes. Riverside Colony was home to 50,000 people. Farmers, mostly, with their families. They had a few small defense platforms, but nothing that could stop a fleet this size. What Kate didn't know was that Riverside Colony had 30 invisible weapons platforms surrounding it. Each platform had enough firepower to destroy a dozen alien ships. The farmers knew nothing about them, but they were there, waiting. Tell them to prepare for the worst, Kate said. We can't help them. The hour passed quickly. Kate spent it trying to think of something, anything, that might stop the attack. But she knew it was hopeless. The aliens had too many ships, too many weapons. Humanity was doomed. Time is up, Vexter announced. Watch and learn what happens to those who defy us. 100 alien ships broke away from the main fleet and headed for Riverside Colony. Kate watched them go, feeling sick. Those were people's lives, disappearing into the distance. It'll take them 6 hours to reach the colony, Captain Williams said quietly. Kate nodded. 6 hours, and then the killing would begin. Unless, Captain, Lieutenant Nash said suddenly. I'm getting strange readings from the direction of the colony. Energy signatures I've never seen before. What kind of energy? Williams asked. I don't know, but it's big, really big. Kate felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe the colony had better defenses than she thought. Maybe they could hold out long enough for help to arrive. What she didn't know was that the alien attack force was about to run into the biggest surprise in galactic history. The invisible weapons platforms around Riverside Colony were powering up. The hidden defense systems were coming online, and Colonel Peters was giving the order that would end 3 centuries of hiding. All Shadow Fleet ships, the colonel said into his communicator, prepare to decloak. The secret is over. The aliens thought they were about to destroy a helpless human colony. Instead, they were about to discover that humans had been preparing for this moment for 300 years, and the galaxy was about to learn what humans could do when they stopped pretending to be weak. The alien attack force was halfway to Riverside Colony when space itself seemed to explode around them. 30 invisible weapons platforms suddenly appeared, their massive guns already firing. The first volley destroyed 20 alien ships in seconds. The second volley got 15 more. The aliens barely had time to scream before their ships were turned into floating metal and fire. What is happening? Commander Vextar roared from his flagship, watching his attack force disappear on his screens. Then, the real surprise came. All around the alien fleet, human ships began appearing out of empty space. First 10, then 50, then hundreds, each. One was sleek and deadly, with weapons that glowed with strange energy. Admiral Jake Morrison's face appeared on screens throughout the alien fleet. His voice was calm and cold. Attention, alien forces. You have attacked human territory. You have threatened human lives. This aggression will not be tolerated. Impossible, Vextar whispered. The humans only have a few primitive ships. You were wrong, Morrison continued. Humanity has been watching you for 3 centuries. We know your weaknesses. We know your fears. And now you will learn what we can do. The Shadow Fleet opened fire. Human weapons tore through alien shields like paper. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years exploded like toys. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't even find targets. The human ships moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing faster than alien sensors could track them. Captain Ryan Burke commanded a battle group of 50 ships in the Kepler system. His job was to protect the human colonies there from the main alien fleet. But when the aliens arrived, they found something they hadn't expected. Sir, Lieutenant Nina Hayes said from her station, the alien fleet is breaking apart. They're confused and scared. Ryan watched the alien ships on his screen. They were firing at empty space, trying to hit human ships they couldn't see. "Let's give them something to shoot at," he said. "All ships, attack pattern Alpha." The human ships decloaked simultaneously, appearing around the alien fleet like a pack of wolves. But these wolves had claws made of energy and teeth made of light. The aliens found themselves surrounded by ships that moved faster, hit harder, and fought smarter than anything they had ever seen. By the void, the Vorthan commander gasped, watching his spider-like ships get sliced apart by human weapons. How did they hide so many ships? The answer was simple. Humans had been building ships in secret for 300 years. They had shipyards hidden inside asteroids, factories buried in moons, and military bases disguised as empty space. While the aliens had been fighting each other, humans had been preparing for this moment. Captain Alex Turner led his fighter squadrons against the Zelani bird. His Ghost Rider was invisible to alien sensors, but its weapons were very real. "All fighters, follow my lead," he said. "Show them how humans fly." The human fighters moved like they were dancing, weaving between alien ships and striking at weak points. They had been trained on advanced simulators that knew every detail of alien ship design. They knew exactly where to hit to cause maximum damage. "They're too fast," a Zelani pilot screamed as Turner's fighters destroyed his squadron. "They move like they know what we're going to do before we do it." They did know. Human computers had been analyzing alien tactics for centuries. Every battle the aliens had ever fought had been studied and cataloged. Humans knew alien weaknesses better than the aliens knew them themselves. But the aliens had one advantage: numbers. Even with their advanced technology, the humans were outnumbered 3-1. For every alien ship they destroyed, 2 more took its place. Slowly, the tide began to turn. "We're taking heavy casualties," General Lisa Kane reported from New Haven. Her hidden fortress was under attack by a massive alien fleet. "They're learning to adapt to our tactics." "Hold position," Morrison ordered. "Reinforcements are coming." New Haven's defenses were incredible. The asteroid field hid thousands of weapons, platforms, and defensive systems. But the aliens were throwing everything they had at it. Massive Cathara dreadnoughts fired planet-killing weapons at the hidden base. Vorthan spider ships tried to grab and crush the defensive platforms. Zelani formations attacked in perfect coordination. "They're adapting faster than we expected," Dr. Ben Carter reported. His new shields were holding, but barely. "They're developing countermeasures to our stealth technology." That was the problem with revealing your secrets. Once the enemy knew what you could do, they could figure out how to fight back. The aliens were smart, and they learned quickly. Human advantages were disappearing one by one. "We need to end this fast," Morrison decided, "before they learn all our tricks." He gave the order that would change everything. "All ships, implement Protocol 7. Full revelation." Throughout human space, the last secrets were revealed. Hidden shipyards opened to release their final reserves. Weapons platforms that had been disguised as planets powered up their main guns. Military bases that had been hiding for centuries activated their most powerful defenses. The aliens suddenly realized they weren't fighting a few hundred human ships. They were fighting thousands. Every system they had thought was empty was actually full of human military installations. Every asteroid field was actually a fortress. Every moon was actually a weapons platform. "How many ships do they have?" Vextar demanded. "Over 3,000 active warships," his intelligence officer reported. "And they're still building more." "What about their colonies? Their civilian populations?" "Sir, I don't think they have any defenseless colonies. Every human settlement shows massive energy signatures. They're all military installations." Vextar felt something he had never experienced before: fear. The humans hadn't just been hiding a few ships. They had been hiding an entire military empire. For 3 centuries, they had been preparing for this war, and now they were ready. "We've been played," the Vorthan commander, said to his allies. They let us think they were weak. They wanted us to attack. It's a trap, the Zilani admiral agreed. The entire human species is a trap. The alien alliance began to fall apart. Ships that had been fighting together started fleeing in different directions. Commanders stopped following orders. Panic spread through the alien fleets like a disease. But the humans weren't done. They had been hiding for 300 years, and they had a lot of anger to work out. Human ships pursued the fleeing aliens, destroying them one by one. Human weapons platforms fired at maximum range, hitting targets millions of miles away. Human fighters hunted alien survivors through asteroid fields and nebulae. Surrender, Morrison broadcast to all alien forces. Stand down and prepare to be taken prisoner. Some aliens tried to surrender, others tried to fight, a few tried to escape. But it was too late. The humans had planned for everything. There were human ships waiting at every jump point, human weapons guarding every escape route, human forces ready for every possibility. The great alien alliance was broken. Their fleets were scattered, their plans were ruined, and they finally understood the truth about humanity. Humans weren't weak, they weren't primitive, they weren't helpless. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and they had been, pretending to be harmless for 300 years. The age of hiding was over. The age of human dominance had begun. 6 months after the war ended, President Sarah Mitchell stood in what used to be the Earth government building. Now it was the capital of an empire that spanned 300 star systems. The weight of that responsibility felt heavier than she had ever imagined. The Cathera have agreed to our terms, Admiral Morrison reported during the morning briefing. They will withdraw from all disputed territories and pay war damages. The Vorthin and Zilani have signed similar agreements. Sarah nodded, but she didn't feel like celebrating. Victory had come at a terrible price. Over 2 million humans had died in the war. Entire colonies had been destroyed. Some star systems would take decades to rebuild. What about the integration? Problems? She asked. Morrison's face grew serious. Not going well. The Shadow Fleet colonies don't want to be ruled by Earth. They say they've been independent for generations. Some are talking about forming their own government. This was the problem Sarah had been dreading. For 3 centuries, the Shadow Fleet had operated in secret. Their colonies had grown up thinking they were independent pioneers. Now they were being told they were part of a vast empire ruled from Earth. Many of them didn't like it. The Titan system has declared independence, Morrison continued. New Shanghai is refusing to pay taxes to Earth. Storm Harbor wants to negotiate a separate peace treaty with the aliens. Sarah rubbed her temples. She had spent her whole life thinking she was president of one planet and a few small colonies. Now she was supposed to govern hundreds of worlds, each with its own culture and its own problems. And the Earth population, she asked. Angry and confused, Morrison admitted. They want to know why we kept the Shadow Fleet secret. They want to know why we put the colonies in danger. They want to know why we didn't tell them they were living in an empire. Sarah could understand their anger. Most people on Earth believed they were part of a small, peaceful federation. They had no idea that their government was secretly building the largest military force in the galaxy. When the truth came out, many felt betrayed. Dr. Amy Foster entered the briefing room carrying a data pad. She looked tired and worried. I've got the reports from the alien homeworlds, she said. It's not good news. What kind of problems? Sarah asked. The other alien civilizations are scared. They're forming new alliances to protect themselves from us. They think we're planning to conquer the entire galaxy. Sarah felt her heart sink. Are they right to be scared? Amy hesitated. Some of our military leaders think we should expand while we're strong. They say the aliens will always be a threat unless we control them completely. This was Sarah's worst nightmare. Humanity had won the war, but victory was turning them into the very thing they had fought against. Some humans were starting to think like conquerors instead of defenders. "What does Admiral Morrison think?" Sarah asked. "I think we need to be very careful," Morrison said slowly. "We revealed our strengths to protect ourselves, but now that strength is making us enemies we never had before." A communication officer entered the room. "Madam President, Captain Burke is requesting permission to speak with you. He says it's urgent." Sarah nodded. Ryan Burke's face appeared on the main screen. He was calling from somewhere beyond the galaxy's rim, where he had been exploring new regions of space. "Madam President," Burke said, "we've discovered something out here. Something that changes everything." "What is it?" Sarah asked. "The aliens. We fought the Cathara, Vorthan, and Zilani. They were refugees. They were running from something much worse." Sarah felt cold. "What do you mean?" "There's another force coming from outside the galaxy. Something that makes our recent enemies look like children. The aliens we fought were just the first wave of refugees fleeing from it." Burke's image flickered as his transmission came through. "From millions of light years away. From what I can tell, this force destroys entire civilizations. It turns planets into factories and people into slaves. It's been conquering galaxies for thousands of years." "How long before it gets here?" Morrison asked. "Maybe 50 years. Maybe less. The aliens we fought were trying to build up their strength before it arrived. When they attacked us, they were desperate, not aggressive." Sarah sat down heavily. Just when she thought humanity's problems were solved, they got worse. Much worse. "There's more," Burke continued. "The aliens want to talk. They're offering to form an alliance with us. They say we'll need to work together to have any chance of surviving what's coming." Sarah looked around the room at her advisors. A few months ago, these same aliens had been trying to destroy humanity. Now they wanted to be allies against an even greater threat. "What do you think?" she asked Morrison. "I think we don't have a choice," he replied. "If Captain Burke is right, we're going to need all the help we can get." Dr. Foster nodded. "The aliens have knowledge we don't have. They've seen this enemy before. We need to learn from them." Over the next few hours, Sarah made the hardest decisions of her life. She agreed to meet with the alien leaders. She authorized the formation of a joint defense council. She ordered the Shadow Fleet to start sharing technology with their former enemies. But the biggest decision was yet to come. Sarah had to decide what kind of leader humanity would become. Would they be conquerors who used their strengths to dominate others? Or would they be protectors who used their power to defend the innocent? "We're going to do this differently," she announced to her staff. "We're not going to rule the galaxy through fear. We're going to lead it through example." "What does that mean?" Morrison asked. "It means we help rebuild the worlds we damaged. It means we share our technology with allies instead of hoarding it. It means we use our strengths to protect the weak instead of enslaving them." Sarah knew it wouldn't be easy. Many humans wanted revenge against the aliens. Many Shadow Fleet colonies wanted independence. Many Earth citizens wanted explanations for centuries of lies. But Sarah also knew that humanity's greatest strength had never been their weapons or their ships. It had been their ability to adapt, to learn, and to grow. They had survived by being smarter than their enemies, not just stronger. "We spent 3 centuries preparing for war," Sarah said. "Now we're going to spend the next 3 centuries preparing for peace." Admiral Morrison smiled for the first time in months. "The aliens won't know what hit them." "That's the idea," Sarah replied as she looked out the window at the stars. Sarah thought about the future. Humanity had revealed their secrets to the galaxy. They had won their first interstellar war. They had become a major power, whether they wanted to or not. But the galaxy was bigger than anyone had imagined. There were threats out there that made the recent war look like a small disagreement. There were wonders to explore and mysteries to solve. There were new friends to make and new enemies to face. Humanity was no longer hiding in the shadows. They were stepping into the light. ready to take their place among the stars. The price of victory had been high, but the rewards might be even higher. The age of secrets was over. The age of exploration was about to begin, and this time, humanity would face whatever came next with their eyes wide open and their true strength revealed to all. They had grown in secret for centuries, but now they would grow in the open, with the whole galaxy watching. The stars were waiting, and humanity was finally ready to claim them.